Welcome to this segment of the Francistown Heritage Museum virtual tour. This section deals with firefighting. The museum's purpose is to show folks what life was like for our ancestors. We do this by showing you the tools, and implements, and other goods that they used to assist them in their survival, and we hope that this viewing will give you a better understanding of what life was like for our ancestors, an appreciation for their hardships, and how their hard labor and determination helped lay the foundation for our lives today. To set the stage for this segment, I'd like to give you two hypothetical examples. The first one, it's 1850 or thereabouts. You and your family have gone to bed for the night. There's a significant snowstorm taking place outside, and about 1 a.m. you wake up and you smell smoke. You get up and determine that indeed the house is on fire. Your next step, of course, is to get your family out, and then you are faced with getting help. No telephones in those days. You got dressed, you ran half a mile through the snow up to the town meeting house, where you rang the bell to summons other people in town to come and assist you. They in turn had to get up, run through the snow up to the meeting house, and together you would go to the fire station and get out the hand tub. This also had to be dragged by hand the half a mile back to your now burning house. And once they got there, they of course had no water, so you have to set up a relay from the nearby creek. Firefighters handing pails of frozen water to each other in a line between the creek and the house. In spite of everybody's valiant efforts, the time it's taken to do this results in a total loss to your property. Contrast that with today. Still the same stormy, snowy night. Still 1 a.m. You're awakened to the sound of your smoke detectors going off. Quite possibly these detectors have also sent an alarm into the alarm company, and the fire department has already been notified. You get your family out of the house at about the same time the firefighters are arriving on their modern equipment, carrying their own water so that they don't have to set up this relay line from the creek to the house. The fire is quickly extinguished and all ends well. So let's look at some of the tools and implements on this tour that the firefighters used back then. The first item is what's known as a Hunneman hand tub. This is a hand-drawn fire truck used solely to pump water. This is the type of unit they had to haul through the snow to get down to your house back in the 1850s. You still had to set up the relay line to get the water from the fire to the hand tub so that it could be placed on the fire. This hand tub was made in Boston, Mass. Originally, it was purchased new by the Ellsworth, Maine Fire Department, who quickly discovered that it was too small for their use. It was returned to Boston, refurbished, and sold to the Francistown Fire Department for $400. They also charged us an additional $2.45 to ship it here from Boston. So that's all well and good for a house fire. In a heavily wooded town such as Francistown, many fires occur out in the woods in hard-to-reach places, and there would be no way to take the Hunneman hand tub out to them. To get around that, they would develop portable hand pumps as soon as small gas engines were available. They wore these on their back, and they carried them out to the fire scene in the woods. This particular one weighs over 100 pounds before you even get water in it. And you can imagine the difficulty in carrying this on your back uphill through the woods to a fire. Whether you're fighting a fire in a house or in the woods, firefighting is hot and exhausting work. It's critical that the firefighters be able to stay hydrated, and water is a must. It was also hand carried out to the fire scene so that the firefighters could have water. We had mentioned that when they got to the fire, the first thing they had to do was establish a water relay line from the nearest creek up to the house. In this line, the firefighters would hand off full pails of water from one to the other, and often they used leather fire pails. The leather buckets were eventually replaced with a metal bucket You'll notice that this fire pail has a rounded bottom, as did most of them back in that time. There was a specific reason for this. When a firefighter back in the 1850s responded to a fire, he generally brought his own pail with him. When the fire was over, the firefighters returned to their home, often with the wrong pail or with two pails when they only brought one, and the fire department was soon left with no pails. By having buckets with a rounded bottom, they won't stand up, and they're really not useful to anybody for any reason and readily identifiable as belonging to the fire department. This item is known as a firefighter's bunker coat. The original bunker coat was made of rubber, which after a certain length of time became hard and brittle and not very useful for the firefighters. Today's turnout gear is far better suited to the firefighter's purpose. It will shed water. It is also resistant to burning embers. It also provides a barrier for heat protection for the firefighter. And being bright yellow makes them readily visible at the fire scene or out on the roads these days if they're responding to a motor vehicle accident. Years ago, Francistown had a fire lookout tower on the top of Crotchet Mountain. These signs marked the trail through the woods up to the top of the mountain to that fire tower. These items are known as play pipes. They were developed early in the 19th century when the fire service discovered that long pipes with a smooth interior created straight, powerful streams of water. These play pipes became general use firefighting nozzles back in those days. Over the years, nozzles developed, and one that was created by the Rockwood Sprinkler Company for the U.S. Navy is the one shown here. Its official name is a Rockwood Water Fog, and by moving the handle, they could get a long, straight stream of water, or they could get a very fine mist. This completes our segment on the firefighting. There are many other firefighting exhibits, so please stop by when you have a chance. There is no admission charge, and you may be surprised at how enterprising the folks were in the 1700s and 1800s. We invite you to review the remaining 4 segments of the Francistown Heritage Museum virtual tour. They deal with agriculture, commerce, domestic life, and transportation of those days. Thank you for watching this segment, and we look forward to having you visit us in the coming year.